But you know that this is working because when you press the little green light there, when you press that button, then it stops and starts the recording.
But the mic as well, or only both things at the same time?
It's like a remote. It's like a... so you can, if you're out and you have that set up to follow your face, for example, you have it set following, but you might not be recording, and then you want to start, but the camera's set over here, and you say, okay, now press record with this.
Okay, love it.
I'll tell you what. So, hello everybody. This is possibly the first and last time I will turn towards the camera because I tend to lose myself. Today is a very big day because today is the first properly recorded, organized, structured podcast with Playful Growth, with Anthony, my friend.
Yay.
To remind everyone, the three pillars, to remind people, just to tell you, the three pillars of Playful Growth are creation, wellness, and communication. And we'll sort of navigate that space as we go through. The idea of this podcast is to talk with imperfect people who are trying their best to navigate the world, and in particular, people who are creating in some way or another. And so today, as my first guest, I have Anthony. Anthony, who I met, you know that you're the first person I sang with in Barcelona, did you know
Really?
that? Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. Remember when, I remember very clearly because I bought the big speaker, right? I bought the big speaker, and I bought a big speaker and a microphone, and I dressed up like a street performer.
Yeah.
And I went out into Barcelona and said, okay, whoever I come across with, I'm going to go up to and say, can I sing a song? Mm-hmm. And that was you. And
I remember that day perfectly. Like I was there in the park, you know, and I think who else? What is the name? Vero? I think that girl was with us as well.
Yeah.
Singing. It was like such a great moment because it ended up. I thought I was going to be there for half an hour or something, and we ended up being there like for an hour or two, just dringing our chai from the chai man. If you sing this, hi, thank you. You say what I'm fucking like.
Chai man, you know what?
Chai man is amazing.
We should send something to the chai man.
Yeah, exactly. No, but it was lovely. I remember you saving the contact, sending me as you usually do. I didn't know you usually did that, right? But sending the picture, you know, with that like goofy face, and I was like, man, I love the vibe that you were giving me that day. So it was like
so it's a good tip actually. In general, if you're taking I learned this from Barak. Hi, Barak. If you're taking, if you get somebody's contact, a nice way to, rather than saying, hey, this is James, is to take a picture with that person in that moment and pull a funny face, right? Or do whatever. Because then when they look back on it, they know who you are, and they also have a nice memory of something a little bit
like they
order.
connect with the emotion, right? Of that same moment.
Exactly. And then hopefully the interaction itself was fun and playful enough so that the picture itself just represents that moment, right?
Cool.
Anthony is also one of the stars of our documentary series, potentially, in which himself and Max, who I did a little interview with, are creating a song together. But tell us about, I won't say tell us about yourself because that goes nowhere. Right?
I don't know, whatever you
Okay, I'll start with the first, but I think one really interesting thing. So before you became like, let's call it a professional musician, right? Before you dedicated this part of your life to whatever, you were doing something else.
Yeah, correct. Like,
what was that?
To resume a bit my journey that I've a bit told you about before, right? But it's like I came from being this perfect child, studying. I was gonna go to uni and everything. I was like, oh, you know, I really gotta be this. Well, we were speaking about it before, right? While we were doing the studying and everything. Like I always try to please parents, these people. So I was like, I have to go through this path to be someone successful there. Suddenly at 15, my brain clicked. I was like, okay. So I realized, you know, we live in the Matrix. We hear, you know, like, and suddenly it's like, get unplugged. You know,
was there something that was there something happened? Was there an incident, or was it just a generalized zoom?
So there was this guy that was like sort of a big brother and a master for me called Jack. Great, intelligent person. And he basically showed me, I was into, this is where we're trying to go. I was into magic. I was in magic. That was my first career, my first job. And he told me, like, he gave me two things. He gave me one deck of cards, and he gave me The Secret. You read The Secret, right?
The Secret.
Exactly. He gave it to me.
But he gave it to you knowing, but he gave it to you knowing that this was your thing, or he gave it to you as something that was interesting, or he saw something in you, or he understood something about you, or he just said, hey, I like both these things, have them.
I think he sort of saw something in me as well, because it was like four of us, kids 14, 15 years old, magicians. We went to his garage there. We had his pool table and everything. It was like so fucking cool. Like took me to a movie there. Every time I was with him, actually it felt like a movie. And from these four, like I sort of got very interesting, and he sort of like picked me in a sense to like, okay, I'm gonna like pass on this information I have. So
And he was a magician.
he's a magician as well. He still is. Like he's crazy. He's booked it. Like Cristiano Ronaldo books him in his house. He's friends with, well, he was in Richard Branson's house as well. He's really getting there big and through the underground world. That's great. So he gave me the deck of cards and the secret.
I like these podcasts. Hi, Evan. Mainly because I end up learning things that somehow we might not have learned. I might not have learned about you this particular information. Right?
Yeah.
If we take information kind of for granted, James probably knows that. You know, once you've known someone for a few months, you tend not to go back over important incidents in their lives because we assume that the other person somehow has absorbed this by osmosis.
Yeah,
right?
no, totally. And basically, he gave me that, deck of cards. I was learning magic for maybe a year or two before that. But I was too scared, too shy. I was this like really shy person that I couldn't go up to people and speak, especially like with girls, like we were mentioning before, another subject that connects here. So hard for me to have eye contact, and it ended up being something I love with people, that eye contact. And I wrote to him as a help message, like, I want to do magic. I love magic. I'm too scared to do it. Can we do so? So we met up on the street. He said, do you have your deck of cards? Yeah. Do magic to that person. I was like, bro, no way. Like, no, that was like the craziest thing for me to do. Like, come up to someone. No. Went to a bar, sat down. He introduced me a bit, like who he was, what was this I was getting into as well, this magic world. And luckily enough, the table next door had a deck they were playing. Said, sign, go up, do magic.
How good were your tricks at this point? Like you had a couple of good, like, when you're playing music and someone says, oh, play us a song, and you play, one of the 2 or 3 songs that you have that is gold. Right? And you kind of hate yourself because you're sick of playing it, but you know that other people love it. Magic's a little bit different. But was this like one of your, would you have a couple of really good tricks prepared, or has you been like rehearsing this at home already, this moment, or what was the scenario?
Not really, it was a bit like improvised there. I had like my 2-3 tricks that I knew that I was going to try to perform, but it was another completely different deck, like really full of like wet drinks from the table and everything, so it's hard to perform. I did it shaking. You can see, and especially I just did it unconsciously when I was nervous. I put my shoulders up and okay, I did it. I think they saw everything I did. I didn't fool them at all, but I did it. It was like I bloody did it.
It's the equivalent of when you finally go up to a girl and she shuts you down, but you feel good
like
about yourself.
The other day,
she goes, hey, and she goes, oh, fuck off, and you go,
yes. Exactly.
I have been rejected.
Exactly. Like the other day when we were playing, that I saw this girl, I was like, I'm hypnotized. I have to go, and I ran down to the park to see her. Can we please have it? I've got a boyfriend. I was like, okay, but I got so happy about it, but I don't want to get off track with this. Anyhow, did that. And that was a bit our story, how we started. He told me that. And the moment where he gave me the deck of cards and the secret, sort of knowing that this was going to make me limitless, Our favorite movie that we share is one called Limitless with Bradley Cooper. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
I have seen it. You take a pill, and he writes a book, etc., etc.
That's been that movie. It's fictional and everything, but it's given me an inspiration to see, like, wow, we actually have the capacity to be limitless in our limits. You know what I mean? So gave me the deck of cards and the secret in the hand. The movie that I watched.
He gave you the movie.
Yeah. He told me to watch the movie. So
I haven't seen the movie. Go on.
Wow. And I was like, okay, literally I can do anything. So I was in school. I was 15 at the moment, and I didn't go to school 3 months of school. I didn't go 4 months of it. But like so many days. Why? So I would go to his garage, learn there, be there. And there was this day, he threw the deck, said, go get breakfast. So okay, in the morning, do magic at night, in a club or whatever, people are going to be open. But 9 in the morning, people are having their coffee and the cigarette. Yeah, but I did it. I got $2-3, got the breakfast.
That's it.
Lunchtime, go get the lunch. Okay. And then I had to leave because I had to go to my dad's place and everything. And I already got the breakfast, I already got the lunch. I was going to go for dinner at home, and I suddenly called my dad and said, I'm not coming for dinner tonight. I wanted to see if I could go a whole day living with magic, like
it's a great line, by the way. I wanted to see if I could go the whole day living with magic. Go on.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I did. I did some magic. I got myself some empanadas de atún, some tuna thingies. And
empanadas, I think they're still called in English. But
yeah, exactly. And I was so proud of myself. It sounds so, these little things, but I was like, okay, I can make a living of this. So that's when I made a decision to quit school, leave home. Well, saying anything to my mom or anything, that was terrible. She was, the day I told her.
You quit school without telling your mom?
Yeah, and I took a studio in the center of the city without telling her anything. I waited the whole holidays and told her the 1st of January, starting a new year, Mom, I left school and I'm leaving this household. And she's like, no, you're not. And I was like, I've already done.
Why? And leaving the household, was it family things, or you just need the space to yourself, or was it like a conscious decision because you wanted to create a new identity, or what was the logic behind that?
It's something very interesting because at the beginning I would justify it, I'd say from my ego, because all the movies I watched, it was like, oh no, because it wasn't like perfect at home, so I had to, no. Then I was honest with myself and I said, I love my family, it was great, but I needed more from life. I think I graduated some like invisible sort of stage of my life, and I wanted to go into a new one. There was street and getting into bars and getting to meet people really closely. And that was like all my manners and all these things I've learned. I think I've got a great education from my parents, but going there and do magic with people is what has given me the manners I have, I think.
When you say manners, what do you mean by manners? Explain to me, like
the way you should be with people in some sort of way.
Give me an example. Give me an example of something that doing magic taught you things about relating to people.
Relating to people in a sense, because I was that 15, and doing magic to these CEOs of companies that will be there. I was, oh, you're important, you're better than me, So it made me learn, like, okay, like, there's some sort of language things that you have to keep, a sort of mental intelligence you have to keep up with frequency-wise. And when you got that obtained and you can have a fluent conversation about communication, we were speaking about before, that's when you allow yourself to be you. And that's when you can allow yourself to be disruptive. That's what magic told me.
I'll have to think about that for a second. So you gain confidence and communication skills to be able to relate to people more easily just by spending time, and also being in a sort of a position of power, right? Where you're the one who has the secrets, the mystery and things like that, and that gives you more confidence. Exactly. With that confidence you communicate better. And then the disruptive bit. How do you mean by being disruptive?
Being disruptive is the way for me to approach people, especially like nowadays. Since I started with magic, I really saw it clearly. Like, I started off magic going to a table, because it was my living when I was 15, 16 when I left home.
This is all very magician, is it? Like the hand movements and things, I guess.
That's what I got from it as well, And I would come up, hey, do you want to see a magic trick?
No one ever says no.
Everybody said no.
Really?
I
Fuck
swear.
off.
Of course, people are with a family, having a drink, having dinner. Who the fuck are you coming? Why the hell are you coming here for? You probably want money. Yeah, they want money, but it's not the energy you got to show. So,
what's the energy you got to show then? What is that? Because I think, for me at least, this whole idea of playful growth. One of the reasons the word is playful is because the playful attitude is just one of the better attitudes. It's a mischievous sort of, hey, diggity. Diggity what? Well, maybe I know something. Maybe we could have a great time. I know you're ready for that there. Is that where you can...
It's somewhere to there. I think everybody, in a sense, wants their life to be as close as a movie as it can be. And if I come up to you, do you want to see a magic trick? It's just so normal. It's so like that. So what this Jack guy told me is be disruptive in a sense. Imagine I come, hey, do you want to see a magic trick? You probably a really nice guy. You're going to say, come on, do so. There's a lot of people that don't want to waste their time in that sense. So you come up like that, take your deck out, that don't help now. Shuffle the deck, think of a card, and I'm going to try and guess it, okay?
Oh.
What? Yeah, and your wife, can you shuffle as well, pick a card and put it in your pocket? And I'm going to guess it as well. And you're like, what the fuck just happened? Like, where did this person come from?
Very interesting. So there's a lot of parallels between that and hypnosis. At Playful Growth, we do hypnosis. But it's something called a tote, which is essentially you test, operate, test, and execute. So for example, if I go up to a door I hold it, I test, I operate, and then I test again. The door has opened, I execute, I push open the door. And the moment that you have to break into their unconscious is in between those automatic things that we do, test, door, operate, yeah, it's going to open, and now I execute. Somewhere in between those TOTE, if you confuse people, like when your handshake is saying in the middle of a handshake, that's where you can hypnotize people, because it's this mechanical, automatic process that people are expecting to, it always works. Whoa, 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 whoa. It didn't work like that, you know? So it sounds similar with the magic, right? You're just kind of breaking someone's pattern rather than engaging with them in a normal way. Because in a normal way, they're perfectly in control. They say, you want to see a magic trick? And they know what to say. They say, no, I do not. But if they're like, and you go right into it, that's when you've got them. Is that kind of the idea?
That's the way.
That's one way
for me to go, and those are the things that you have, like, okay, these are my tools. But what I learned is the best way to be disruptive is to be brutally honest. I'm gonna try and explain that. The best ways that I've approached people to do magic is when I was in the street, I saw this table, people full of suits, probably a meeting or something. I was gonna go, and I'm too scared. And I would come up and say, brutally honestly, hey, I was walking by and I wanted to do magic to you, but because you all are wearing suits and you look like important people, I'm too scared to do so. But still, I don't want this fear to hold me back, so I'm gonna do a magic trick to you, okay? And like suddenly you just took all and put it there. It's like, for me, Eminem in his movie, Lose Yourself, I think it's called.
The song is, yeah.
He puts it great in his last battle. He puts all his shit out, so you can't really put anything else in. So if you come up to someone and be like, I really want to speak with you, but I feel so insecure because I think you might reject me and everything. You put everything on the table. They're like, okay, what else can this, like, that's it. You've broken barriers for communication to be more effective, I think.
Very nice, very nice.
So that's one of the tools I learned.
And magic, why magic?
Why magic?
I mean, I had a phase of magic. I never really learned so much of it, but I had a phase where I enjoyed it. And the thing I enjoyed it is that the conscious mind is very limited, but we believe it isn't, right? And so, for example, magic, basically you work faster or distract people's conscious mind and you do all these different things, And when you can see in magic that people are tricked so easily, and it just always showed me how limited our conscious mind is. One of the reasons I got into the unconscious mind was actually through magic and illusions and seeing how easily I was tricked, right? And thinking, but why? What was magic for you about it?
Quite easy. It's not a really profound story, but no, I just saw this guy that ended up being one of my magic teachers for a few months, and he just did this trick. He grabbed this card, put it in the middle of the deck, boom, went up, and again, and again. Went home. Dad, can you buy me a deck of cards? 90 cents in the Chino. Perfect. It's not fucking working. What the hell is it? Why? Okay, and there's where like the mystery and that feeling came in, I just feel like learning. So from there on, I just started learning.
And you got good then. So I'm going to blow my nose, everybody. You're going to have to excuse me. Go on.
Yeah, I'm not going to excuse myself. I'm going to blow my nose right here.
Well, you have a tissue, do you?
I got a tissue. I thought I knew this moment was going to come, so I put one in my pocket really nicely, neatly.
Oh, yeah? Well, I'm back, everybody. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Rhythmic, lovely.
Perfect.
And you became good at what I love about this is a lot of people I meet, or everybody, and people in their lives, they're stuck in sort of golden cages. Right? Even recently I've been talking to people who have, a very lucrative or reasonably lucrative job that is too lucrative for them to abandon and do something that's a bit riskier, even at the cost of, their happiness and their well-being, right? And so when you got good at magic, then you were earning decent money from it, right?
Exactly, that was the thing. I started off from the street to a bar, they put me in a restaurant, and I started working here in private events and weddings. And I opened this place, it's called Puerto Portales in Mallorca, and I was in this sort of cocktail club place with dancers and DJs in all kind of shows, and I was the magician that would come up and do magic.
What did you wear?
I wore, we have the t-shirt of the place, but otherwise, thing is, I felt so free to put whatever I want. I wanted to go with a cap, perfect. I wanted to go with a jumper, I'd go with it. Why? Because that being so authentic to myself would allow my magic to be as pure as it could be. you know. And especially if you go into all these people, posh, they just come off the yacht to have a drink. You coming up, the beanie on, in a posh place. That's disruptive, and that's what helps you go in. It's like, why the fuck is this coming?
And then what happened?
Then
in terms of like, you were good. I mean, for a lot of people, this sounds like how old were you when you started earning decent money as a
decent money. I was like 17, 18.
Okay, so you're 17, 18, you're earning decent money enough to like live a lifestyle that's far away from what most 17 or 18-year-olds can have, right?
Exactly. I got this contract for the whole season where I started in April, working very little hours, earning a lot of money, and it was that secure thing you said. You know, it was like, oh.
Secure but shiny as well, isn't it? Like, it's secure, but it's not like it's secure like, 50 grand working in an office, but it's secure and it's cool.
Exactly.
Right? You say I'm a magician and I'm not a poor magician, they pay me to do it. That's
a
big jump in status.
Exactly. It's not only they pay me, but the amount of tips you're getting from these people is on top of another thing. It's another salary.
Easy.
And I had the whole season there. I spent a month and a half, nearly 2, and I had this like identity crisis. As I said before, I come from a really insecure little kid, shy, and magic pushed my security up, but from the wrong point of view in my sense. Wrong or bad, it's very ambiguous sort of thing, but it came from my ego, and I was so, I wanted to be someone and show you that I'm cool and have this approval, so that made me feel so empty, and this character I was playing didn't feel at all good with me. So I suddenly had this like, whoa, quit that job.
So this is your second dramatic change then, because the first one 15 you're in the apartment, second one is you're saying actually I'm going to drop this lucrative, interesting career because I don't feel good about it.
Exactly.
It's
so
ballsy,
I dropped
bro.
it. I thought it was only going to be a space and I would come back. What happened? Luckily enough, I was there, and I got into singing and got back into guitar playing.
Had you been into it before?
I was playing guitar when I was a kid, from 7 to 12 in the conservatory, but like style, like I put like that in the Spanish guitar, and let's play like that.
But you had good, decent skills.
Yeah, I did on guitar wise. Singing, I had no idea.
Really?
So no idea, man. And me and my brother heard this song called Best Part from Daniel Caesar. It's one that I sing every time because
give us a line.
Uh,
He's sick, by the way.
I'm
we're sick.
But
so.
Anyhow, I don't care. It goes, you're the coffee that I need in the morning.
Oh yeah.
You're the sunshine of my life.
These songs, I always feel so old with these songs. Because you're talking as if this song was like a long time ago, You're like, whoa, it was a long time ago now. It was what, like
4 years?
4 years ago, yeah.
I know.
Time distortion, baby. Okay.
So, and we were like, whoa, I really want to learn how to sing. How can we do it? And a friend of mine, we just started singing, and a friend of mine told me, have you ever tried voice exercises? I was like, no, never. And I was like, I don't need them. I've got the talent. I'm going to be great. And I was like, wait, maybe if I put in a bit of time every day, that's going to end up working. So that's what I did. We put, since then, nearly every day, half an hour practicing your voice. And that's what I learned. It is actually a muscle. And it's something that you can actually work on and get better. So that's what I did, and I was been 3-4 years already. And I think my improvement has been drastic. It's been great. And I still got so much more to learn and to perfect and this and that.
And you still take lessons, or you just go to drills, or how are you now? The table is now clean. How are you now improving your voice? What's the strategy?
My strategy, it's a channel, actually, I owe a lot to. It's called Jacob's Vocal Academy. And they just got videos that you can choose specifically what you want to work on. Okay, let's work on vibrato, or riffs and runs, or my falsetto, or this.
Say the name of the channel again?
Jacob's Vocal Academy, I think.
Links.
Shout out to them. Well, yeah, basically, because a lot of people ask me when I'm playing on the street, hey, I want to learn how to sing, how? But just go there, and that's one channel. There's so many other people that do it so well. Find yours, the one that connects with you. And that's what I did, basically.
Did you have a singing coach?
No, never.
Never?
No, it's just me by myself, So I was thinking how I should sound. And you go through so many different things. It's okay, that's wrong. And you thought it was right. So you reconnect. But I feel...
Say it again, you think something was wrong. Can you elaborate a little bit?
You think you have to put your voice in this way to sound like that. So okay, perfect. I got this one right. And then you realize you're like, oh no, this is not the way I should project my voice. So you go back a few steps and retake that.
And how are you with hearing your own voice? Do you feel that you're overly critical of yourself? Do you feel you're good with feedback, super good with feedback, I've noticed. But do you feel you're overly critical, or are you aware of your voice? Are you afraid? How do you feel when you listen to yourself singing? How does that make you feel?
I think it's always cringy. I think for whoever like listens, I don't know, I'm speaking for myself, but when you listen to yourself, it's like, I thought I was sounding better. From here, how you feel your bones vibrate and everything, and here you think it's better than you hear yourself only through that. It's like, weird. But that's how you improve yourself as well a lot. By filming yourself, watching videos that people might post, especially when you're on the street, they repost you and this and that. And that helps you a lot to be like, I thought I was doing this right. But in an essence, I think I was very lucky with these voice exercises, because it's so easy to do the technical part wrong and having your voice heard, because no vocal coach told you have to sit like that, do like that. And I think I had an intuitive part of me that really connected with that, and that's why I think now I'm very thankful that I can sing 4 or 5 hours straight and my voice feels fine, it's not like, it hurts. I've got some friends that started and they're like, after 10 minutes of singing, they can't anymore. So
when I was 22, I had a vocal polyp.
Oh.
And I was living in Taiwan, I was teaching kindergarten, I was smoking loads, and I was singing in a band. Okay. And so you get a vocal polyp. And a vocal polyp means I had an operation on my vocal cords.
Whoa.
And they cut off the polyp. And then you can't speak for 3 weeks after they cut the polyp off.
That must be a very interesting
story. Crazy interesting. And so I had to sit, at first I was carrying around a notepad, a little notepad and writing stuff down. And after a while I started sticking 3 notes to myself. Yes, no, and your mother. I was 22, okay, I wasn't, And that pretty much worked for all communications with people. It was like, yeah, no, your mother. No, yeah, no. But I had I guess from that also I had I had vocal exercises, because Taiwan has a very advanced medical system.
Okay.
And so I went to 10 lessons with a vocal coach who showed me how to breathe through my diaphragm. Okay. How to sing through my diaphragm and use my abdomen, and etc. etc.
Yeah.
And that saved me a lot of hassle.
Wow.
A lot of hassle.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I recommend anybody who tries to sing, get a vocal coach. That's great. What happens? Me, I'm a very I don't know how to say it in English, autodidacta.
Autodidact. It's the same word in strange word. But yeah.
I very like the way I teach myself, and the ambition and the discipline I put on myself. So that's why I chose this path. But it's not always the best or the quickest.
No, I mean the autodidact, I'm similar. So I learned Chinese, and I basically learned it by myself because I found
Well, I had no idea.
Well, I learned Chinese by myself.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, no, I mean for the same reason, because I have very high standards for education, for training, you know, and for these kind of things. And as soon as someone is if you were in a vocal coach, and your energy can be easily spent thinking about how this person is not doing it the way you would like them to be doing it, or less than optimum, or kind of looking at things from, if you're overly empathized and think about it too much, you lose the whole point of the thing, Yeah. But for most people, get a teacher if you're learning Chinese.
Totally. Yeah.
Get a teacher if you're learning to sing.
And exactly. Yeah.
And now, if you were to say, so then, when did you come to Barcelona? 4 months ago?
Yeah, October I did a sort of trial with some friends, and November I started living here.
Okay. And what's the plan? What's the dream? Put that way. If you so we're looking. One of the things we're looking at. We talked about the secret, and we talk about a little bit manifestation, which is very interesting. And we talk another time about hypnosis and manifestation, these kind of things. But what's the dream? What's the thing? Do you have something in your head that you see that you go, yes, that's what I'm moving towards, or is it a feeling, or is it what is it?
I'm gonna try and shorten this on as much as I can, because it goes a lot like that. I come from a very ambitious mentality. That's why I got these tattoos that goes, first part is in my head, long-term success equals mindful thinking and calculated movement.
You show them to the camera there?
Mindful thinking, I don't know if
you know, man, I never saw those.
Yeah, so this was my mentality, go for you, I especially in magic, and then the music as well. I gotta go to the top, I'm gonna be the best of the best. What happens with this side, I don't agree so much. it's not like I regret the tattoo. It's like, it's a part of me that I like.
Calculated movement.
Something, because now I move a bit more through what my compass goes, you know?
How would you describe your compass? Your feeling, your heart?
My heart, yeah. You know, and I think it's a combination with your rational part, with your heart, you know, like, I don't think we have to be on one side, like, extremo or on the other one. So basically, what I did last year, one of the things I'm most proud of is redefining my definition of success. Why? Because I was like disappointed with the outcomes I was having. Like, oh, I want more. I was always, and that's something they tell you. You know, one of my favorite artists, Jacoba, says that when you focus on these material sort of things, money, women, or goals, cars, whatever, you never get enough. You never can. You know, it's something like, thanks to these people, I've been able to see it from a distance without living it so much. You know, it's like, you can't stop counting, the numbers are infinite. But when you focus on love, when you focus on friendship, those are things that you need so little to feel so fulfilled. So that's when I changed my success definition.
Yeah, your barometer, like, thermometer of success, your successometer, right?
Exactly. So it was like, what do I want to do? I want to sing whenever I want and as much as I can. Am I doing it? Am I singing nearly every day? Yes, I am. Check. I want to record my music whenever I want and whatever I want to record. Am I doing it? Yes. Check. I want to release my music whenever I want, without no label telling me you have to sing this and you have to do it. Doing it? Check. So I'm in the path of my success, I think. You know, that's how I feel.
No, I mean, feels great to me, my man. It feels great.
So what was the actual?
The question was how like. Do you have an idea in your mind of an end goal? Do you see a vision of yourself in the future being a certain way? Or are you maybe you're more orientated around just how you're feeling at the moment, that you're covering the basics and trusting in the future?
I think it's a combination of both. You know, like, how do I visualize myself? Touring. Going around the world, you know, just like sharing my music, sharing my songs with as much people as I can connect with and resonate with, you know, as they resonate with me. In a sense, so that's my goal right now. Yeah, that's how I picture myself, you know? Then in another stage of my life, I've got other things. That will be another conversation. How do I want to get there? That's the inner side that you said, you know? Music is a way for me to discover what is here, you know? Like, sometimes I write a song and I feel like I'm putting too much on my brain. Those are the shit songs. The moment, like, my hand writes by itself, the melody comes, you really feel that you're a vessel. You know, and you like,
good word, vessel.
Yeah,
good word. Isn't that the word? I think it was my God, what's the name of the one who wrote Harry Potter? Rowan.
Yeah, J.K.
Rowling.
Yeah.
I think she mentioned that. It's this idea that once you realize that you are a vessel for inspiration, it takes a lot of the pressure off you. You're not the source of this inspiration. This inspiration comes from somewhere, maybe outside you, and comes through you, and you channel it.
Exactly. No, I heard it first from Russ. That's one of my inspirations. He's a singer, rapper, really great dude. Well, great dude. I don't know him personally, but what he does, I completely love.
Okay, great dude. Yeah, it's more personal implication. Yeah.
But anyhow, so those are the moments, like, through these songs or messages that are written, like, as a vessel, that I don't feel that I'm writing them. I don't feel that I'm creating a melody for it to be catchy or for it to be this way. Then I realized that that's a message for myself. You know, like, there's something I tell all my friends. The person that gives me the best advice is me when I'm writing. Not in the moment, but maybe 1 year later. Like, I write something as a vessel, don't realize, okay, cool song, I like it. 1 year later, I'm struggling with something. I sing that song in the street or wherever, and I'm like, shit, I have the answers, and I didn't even realize, you know? So that's a great path, you know? So as long as I'm carrying this side of me, I think I'll be able to connect with that. Behind, that's the, like, heart part, the feel life, you know? But then on the rational side, I think you have to be aware of what the industry is. You know, you are an artist for yourself, for these writing things, but you're also a product. How are you going to sell that product? How are you going to do that? How are you going to manage it? Do you need a manager? Do you manage yourself? There's that. How are you going to reach the masses, you know?
What have you learned? What advice? Let's go into the advice section. Instagrammable. What advice, Instagrammable? Okay. What advice?
I like it.
I'm sure it exists.
Exactly.
What advice would you give to someone, let's say, is still in high school, thinking about would like to follow your path into this musician world? What would you say?
Okay. First, what would I say is, don't believe any single word that I'm about to say. Okay, one of the people this referente for me says that, question what I say. Okay, don't believe it. First thing I'd say is, really trust the pureness of your intention. Really, like if you get this, like signal, like I want to do this, like I have to do this, like for me, go for it. And as you said before, you're gonna get people not liking it, people loving it, and once you're there, I think everything else will sort of like appear in life. As long as you're trying to be the purest version of yourself, suddenly, a person that sees the talent in you appears. Not in that, So for me, if you, in that stage you're in school and you really want to be an artist, it's like, unplug yourself. Go for the world.
Unplug yourself from the world and the messages
matrix.
and from everybody else, and just do whatever feels right and deep inside you.
Exactly. That's what you come here from, and we're such in a small frame of this thing called life that we get trapped so much in these things of like, but I gotta do this and the pressure and that and that. It's like, I understand it, but please dissociate yourself from that. See yourself and be like, live your life in your way. It's like a person who is adventurous, who's wondrous, never wonders if he should go right or left because the path is made through the steps he makes, And I heard this from a girl that's called Ali Michelle, and I love how she phrases it, It's like, there's no right way, like you making your right way with every step. So focus on that step. One of my best friends has tattooed here on his foot, only this step. And I think it's great. It's such a great message. Like, true, we tend to look at the whole goal, like touring. Whoa! No, what is it today that you can do? And we live in a society that's so focused on productivity. Do this, do that, do that, do that. That sometimes you have to realize that part of the story, especially when you see these documentaries of people and everything, they have to go through phases of not doing anything or being like in their house or whatever. Why? Because you're leaving space for that to come in. I think that's very important.
I very much like this idea of space to come in, because I don't do it very well. I don't think most people do it very well. But I remember when I was living in Beijing and I had a hammock, like at the window like this, a hammock lying like that. And when I come home from work, I would lie down in the hammock.
Yeah.
And I would lie down until I really, really felt like doing something.
Okay.
Eventually you will feel like doing something. But you lie down and at first you say, I want to play the guitar. Or I want to play the guitar. Do you really want to play it? I do. I feel like playing the guitar. But you resist the urge to get up and play the guitar until that idea starts to grow wings and spread. I want to do this thing. I'm going to play guitar and I'm going to mix it with this and do it. And by the time you get out, you only get out of the hammock when you're really fucking excited about what it is you're going to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was great. It was like to have a physical space that you use to allow yourself to have space, which you can have in your room or anywhere like that, is great.
No, it is great. Like one of the exercises I practiced last year when I was living, 2 years ago, when I was living in Camden, in London, it was that I would go out with a cup of tea.
Go on.
You all good?
Device disconnected somehow. Go on. Why would it do that?
I was no rush, like.
We're good.
Yeah.
We're good. I think
Gonna drink my tea. People can watch me in my coffee.
Well, look, what we'll do is, that camera's gone, but we can splice that in. This keeps going. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
All right.
So cut that or not, we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, Camden.
I was living in Camden, and that was like sort of my second awakening for me. And I realized like, whoa, I really have to be by myself, like alone, doing nothing. That space when you were in a hammock. For me, it was going out with a cup of tea and sitting on the street, like in the Porsche of where I lived, for 2-3 hours.
Just with the tea?
Just with the tea, nothing. To empty yourself. See how crazy we are mentally, and all these like thoughts that come into you that you're like, whoa. We have to realize there actually is a crazy person up here,
Favorite quote, I will just say my favorite quote is from Mark Twain. I wrote up in the last place I lived. once you realize that everybody is insane, the mysteries of the world fall apart and life stands explained.
Oh.
And once you realize that you were fucking insane, I did the Vipassana retreats. I did one full one and 9 days out of 10 of another one.
Okay.
But once you realize that you're insane, like you actually like really viscerally feel you're insane,
Yeah.
then you also realize everybody else is insane as well. And that frees you in a sense to do whatever the fuck you want,
Yeah,
right? You know?
That's great, and I think you're an example of it. Like, I'm not saying you're bloody crazy, but I think you, with all you've lived, you see life as a game. Playful growth. You know what I mean?
Like, I try, baby. I try. I do
that's
catch
great,
myself.
you know, like it's things that stop us, normal people, of going up to someone. Like, simplest thing, I need a chair. Like before, you know, when we were organizing the whole set, I need a chair. I'd go, oh shit, what should I do? No, get a chair. No, because money, because I gotta eat later. No. Hey neighbor, you got a chair? Sick, thanks. Done. You know, like
that. But you know, I think
it's so easy.
It's
and
so
an
easy.
example, but
But
like,
it comes back. The thing that I find is this. You mentioned before is intention, right?
Yeah.
If your intentions are pure, then you can ask anyone for anything essentially, and especially if you're involved in something that's more than yourself. If it was just me wanting to make a video of myself, doodle doodle doo da da da, maybe I still would ask for the fucking chair. But
Yeah.
maybe I would have thought twice about it. But when you're involved in a project with somebody else whose well-being is at hand, then whatever minimal discomfort I may have felt in that scenario, which I wouldn't have, is gone, because it's like, hey, we're doing this thing where it's not just about me, it's about this other person, and so can you give me that? And you go, yeah, of course, boom. But for example, say I think we both have the same issue. If I have to go up to, if I want to, if it occurs to me, I see a pretty girl or an interesting person, and the intention, and we talked about this earlier, when the intention is less obviously pure, you know what I mean? In the sense of, you know, you're going up to a girl who's pretty, something, I will definitely second or third guess that, despite what you might think by looking at me. You know what I mean?
Of course.
I got this sidetracked there. We got chair. What were we talking about?
We were talking about, I don't know, we were talking about intention. You brought it up before.
I don't know. Oh well, we'll move
sure.
on. It's podcast 1. So, what's the most difficult thing? Oh, sorry, this is something I really want to ask because I find this quite difficult as well. As an artist in the modern world, and always, you have to present a certain version of yourself to the world. There's all this internet, Instagram, YouTube-y. How do you navigate that space? Given that for me, you're a very sensitive, thoughtful character, right? Mm-hmm. And so, it's not easy, and it's not easy or obvious to see how you would manage this self-publicity element.
So how do I navigate that?
How do you navigate that and stay like, well, you know, how do you approach your material, your publicity, your marketing, what you're doing, the social media world that we live in?
Good question. Very good question. I'm still discovering that.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
I'm very new to it. But that's a bit the difference. I want to connect it with magic. You know, with magic, I was playing this character, and I felt it. That's why I had to push it aside. And with music, my objective, my goal is be the most pure as I can. You know, it's something I repeat. My first song of the EP, like I just released a few months ago, it's called Pure. You know, that's what I focus on just being me. You know, like I think, cool, you can write great lyrics, you can make great music, but those are limited sources of communication. What is an unlimited source of communication? Energy. So that's basically what I want to put into the world. So for me, for social media to be healthy, it has to be reflect the person that you are. You know, it's great. Why? Because there's so many ways of doing it. There's people that create a persona, character that's for social media and for the music and for the YouTube and for Instagram, and then they've got the personal life. And for me, I'm trying to blend it. You know, I don't want to hide from anybody. You know, I'm not so reserved in a sense of like, I don't want, you know, people to know this, that I'm like that, or I've got these insecurities. No, that's what makes me vulnerable. That's what makes me human, and that's what I want to show to the world. So how am I navigating this? I'm trying to be the most honest that I can through these platforms, you know? And I'm still struggling. I feel like sometimes I record a video and it's like, I don't want to upload the first take. Why? No, because I'm nervous and I didn't put the. It's like, and I lose the pureness of it.
I know.
But it's cool because like if I would do it on the first go, like that's a bit my goal. But if it would come naturally, there'd be no fun in it. That's my journey, that fear I want to leave behind. So that's a bit how I want to show myself through my socials. Just this person, the Anthony you know. You know what I mean? That's how I want to put it there. So I'm a bit like old school still to this whole uploading things. I swear when I gotta upload a video, it makes my brain hurt so much. Like, oh, you gotta put this, and you gotta mention this person, and you gotta do that and that and that. But it's the world we live in, so I gotta learn from it.
It's the world you live in, and it's especially the world you live in if you're an artist, right?
And until a moment where I'm gonna have enough people following, if that's what's destined for me, that I'm gonna have someone for sure manage my socials. You know, like I don't want that pressure. It's something that I just don't want to. You know, it's just like I don't know, like a window where you put your best things, you know, like I'm gonna just book someone to do so. You know, that's it. I want to live my life, so yeah.
Good.
I don't know if it was very clear. I don't know if I went.
Well,
too
no,
much
I mean
there,
that's the thing, man. There's no very clear answers with these things. It's just more about
we
it's
have
just a
no
grey
answers,
area.
to be honest. But
No.
basically, one of the things that I think is most important is whatever I say to anyone who's listening, I say to myself, like what I said. For social media to be healthy, it has to reflect the person you are.
Yeah, I mentioned this. I don't know if I mentioned to you, but when I started doing these YouTube videos and things, I started to become very aware of what was the persona that I was trying to present, you know? And like, I smoke hash, you know? But I'm also big into wellness and yoga and breathing and ice baths and therapy. And you can see how smoking hash will cut out a certain proportion of the population because I'm going, hash, he's not as healthy as he makes out. And so what I did in the first video that I made is basically I referred directly to the fact that I smoke hash.
Okay.
To cut.
Right.
I'm going up a hill. Oh, my lungs are a bit fucked because I'm smoking so much hash. There. It's out. And I was like, first sentence, Playful Growth video 1. And it was just because that just freed me.
Yeah.
Because it's better. Like I mentioned to you before. We had a conversation earlier about Anthony.
Hash.
Hash. Actually, we did. That's actually true. We had a conversation about hash as well. We also had a conversation about being a nice guy and a people pleaser, right? This is you might have guessed that this is an issue that Anthony has, and I have had at various points. Still have it to a degree. And that the idea, and I said to you that I think even Mike Tyson said it, you know, if you're friends with everybody, then you're the enemy to yourself. But basically,
I love when you
some people should dislike you.
Yeah.
And because if everybody likes you, it means you're playing a game that's not sustainable for your long-term happiness.
Totally agree with that.
Right? But we'll move on to a point I want to touch on because Anthony is one of the very few people left in the world, and particularly of his age group, who reads books.
Okay, well, I want to see where this goes.
Well, that's true though. It's true. You know what I mean? Like most people now I talk to, it's not that they get most information in little bites and they kind of link those things together through YouTube videos, but you're actually processing these things. So, 3 books you would recommend to anybody.
Ooh.
Maybe let's keep it on the line of any 3 books that have really impacted you.
Well, probably it's going to be in the line where you were going to say.
Probably, yeah. I mean, really, that's where we are, but we're living in that space, so.
First one that really made me discover myself is called, in Spanish, Encantado de conocerme.
Mm-hmm. Delighted to meet me.
Yeah. And it's, I don't know if it's in English or not, but it's from an author, he's from here, from Barcelona, Borja Vilaseca. And he's the one that explains the Enneagram, it's called in English? Enneagram?
Anagram?
Yeah.
Enneagram. Anthony's a 2. I'm a 7.
Yeah. So basically, why? And I know it's very like popular now, this whole autoayuda and self-help sort of things. But that's a really good book I recommend. Basically, because it's a tool. It's not a truth. It's a tool of navigation to know where you have to focus yourself and to be aware of when you're misleading yourself. So
it basically goes through the Enneagram process. It's kind of related
it tells
to that.
you all of them, and you suddenly feel connected with one. It's like this one.
So who are you then? According to this, what did this book reveal to you about yourself?
It revealed to me one thing, that I'm the helper. I give a lot of love to people and everything. I was like, yeah, for sure. But when I read the dark side of it, it's like, oh, all that love that I'm giving, I want it back. and I sort of manipulate it in a clever way to get it back. And I've got this pride in myself. And I'm like, no, that's not me. That's not me. That's not me. And suddenly, boom, hits you.
One of the nice things about I'm not even sure it's called Enneagram or Anagram, is that it shows when you are in line with your values, how you manifest that. You know, for example, in number 7, from what I remember years ago from doing this, it was like, you're charming and you're energetic and you're curious and you're sharing energy and boom, 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 boom. And the bad, when you're out of whack or out of line, then it's just running around, scattered brains, all over the place. Yeah. Right? And so number 2, when they're on their game, or you on your game, what would that look like?
What do you mean, like on my game?
Like when you are in good form.
Good form.
In good form. What is a number 2 like when they're in good form, and what is a number 2 like when they're in bad form?
Oh, when they're in the good form, 2 connects to the 4. 4, what is it? The creative people, And I connect to my creative source, to my art, to all those kind of things, and to the giving, like unconditional giving. So it's beautiful to see, before I read that book, see how I got into magic, how I got into music. There are creative things, but I wasn't aware that connected me, and suddenly you see it like that way back, and you see, oh, makes sense. So that's the way when I align myself to creating. I think us humans beings have come here to be, obviously, human beings, like people, they
people be, human beings. Yeah.
But to create, we've got so much power of what you said, manifesting an idea, and that's where we come from. So that's when I feel connected. When I don't, it's when I'm not an aggressive person to the outside. I'm very peaceful. I'm influenced of my father as well. But it's when I judge myself so much that I close myself to that creative process. And I'm like, whatever, and I feel better than that person. But to me, and that as I said, you might not say it with words, you might not say it in that way, but you do say so with your energy. And people feel that. And that's when I hate it, because that's when I feel like I myself create those barriers with other people. And unless I'm aware and conscious enough to see that.
Well, I remember when we first met, or I think maybe a couple of months ago, and we were meant to meet and then we didn't meet, and then you sent me a voice message, which I remember, and you said, hey, you're explaining your current state. Hey man, I feel like this, and so I'm going to do this. I'm taking my time. I hope you appreciate that. That was extremely mature for, how old are you?
22.
22. That was an extremely mature way of expressing, hey, I hope you don't feel. I didn't notice the energy. On reflection, when you sent me the message, I did notice that it was slightly different, but I guess, I accept that. But it was very mature to reach out and say, hey, don't be offended by any of this. This is just a moment.
Totally, no. Right? And I think it's one of the most important things to communicate, and that's the thing, like, why do I recommend this book? Because it gives you a tool to identify what you are. These things, like, I think a lot of people feel like, I don't know what I'm feeling. I'm feeling that I don't know what I feel. So it gives you like things into words, so you're able to communicate.
Yeah, and it gives a frame. I guess these Enneagram. I like Enneagram more than I like a lot of these other ones, because it gives you a framework just to understand yourself. It's that these people have these characteristics. These are the things that they tend to feel. This is the way they tend to relate. This is what's out relate. And you go,
And the lovely thing about this book is it tells us, like, we humans, we're so complex that I cannot put you in a box. I cannot put you in a number. And I'm using numbers. I could use colors or animals or whatever. It's just like, here's the information. I know if you want to take it, great. If not, don't. And that openness in a book is what really captivates my attention. That's what I love. So that's the first book. Second book I would recommend a lot. It's more focused on the outside society world. Is a book by Richard Branson, his autobiography. It's called Losing My Virginity. Have you read it? Yeah? I love that book. I don't know, like, it was such an approach for me to see how business should be run by the things you like, by your focus, by fun, by having fun through the process. And I love this man's journey when I read it, basically because you see, like, he's so involved in it because he likes it, not because of the money it will reach or anything. It's something. Money is the thing we lose track of.
It causes us to lose track. We measure ourselves by that, and if that's coming in, we go, well, it's a shit show.
So why? Because it's such a great read, because it's entertaining. It's not a book that says, this is like that, this is like that. No, it's this man explaining his life and how he thinks life works for him.
And also, he's come to a certain point where he doesn't need to prove anything to anybody.
No, exactly.
So he can just say, I didn't know what I was doing here, and this was happening. I didn't fucking clue, but I like this guy, so I went here. But he's already made it, so he can look back and just say, boom.
and you see like, obviously now you look up Richard Branson and you see this really successful guy, but reading his book you see the downs and the ups and the downs, and that's the thing. Like when you read this book and you see like these successful people going through these bad bumps things, you see that what I was explaining before, when you're in your low, that's part of your movie as well, and you feel like it takes a weight off your shoulder. Perfect. I'm just gonna hug this feeling, hug like whatever I'm dealing with now, because I trust that I'm aligned with anything I have to do, you know, like just trust it will come, and don't try to figure out how it will come, you know?
Very nice.
So that's the thing. And third book I would recommend, because, wow.
I tell you what, rather than saying recommendation,
Yeah.
you're reading Celestine Prophecy at the moment.
Yeah, I'm really into the, yeah.
I've read the Celestine Prophecy. What's the name of the author? Redmond or something?
James Redfield.
James Redfield.
Yeah.
I've read that, and it was a game changer for me. And I highly recommend you read it, whether you have a spiritual bent or otherwise. It just frames things in a really nice way and does a really nice narrative. So,
yeah.
What have you taken from that book, Celestine Prophecy?
I wanted to mention it so bad because I'm so like freaky, so geek on it that all my friends, I'm like, read this book, read it. I'm like, wait, don't be so on it, you know, like if it has to come into someone's life, you know, great. I absolutely love this book. You know, I really do. I really connected with so much. Why? Because it gives you a perspective of our relationship with humans and with nature and basically everything we revolve around in a very conscious way. And I love it. It's like, and it's through a novel. You know, it's a story. It's you downloading information in such a playful way. You know, it's like, wow, this is so interesting. I just couldn't stop reading that book. You know, I was living my daily life, but I had to go home to read the next page and the next page, you know? And really recommend this book.
So it basically has 10 revelations? 11?
9 in the first one.
9? And then it comes along with the number 10. And the book.
If you really like it, you then go 10th, 11th, then 12th, and that's it.
12 is €400.
Yeah, by the way, it's crazy.
Just, you know,
Anyway.
so there are 9 revelations. Tell me your favorite revelation.
My favorite revelation, it must be I think it's the third. I've got 2.
Third? I bought them.
Third tells you how, through appreciating the beauty of nature itself, you can uplift your energy and your vibration to your highest point. And I think that's the most important thing before you do anything in this life.
Is to raise your vibrational energy?
Yes, totally. You know?
Totally agree.
Agree? Yeah.
Absolutely
Why?
agree.
You know,
That's my whole
and it's
bag.
something
Love
like,
it.
it's not I'm saying it, oh yeah, I've got this mastered. Absolutely not. It's my journey. That's what I'm going through. But it's something that I really want to work on. Why? Because you come in with the, relating before, your purest energy, your purest way to focus on life. And I love that, you know, just, and it's a meditation. You know, you just sit there, breathe in the beauty of the plants.
He's sitting, I think I remember, he's sitting and he's in a monastery and he says, look at that tree.
Yeah,
it's
isn't it? Plant.
Saying, look at that tree, and then he sits there and slowly but surely starts to see the tree in all its magnificence.
Yeah, and the colors become more vibrant and everything. It's something like, it's a fantasy book supposedly, but you can really feel that in real life when you put your focus there.
Yeah, absolutely. And the second?
The second is very related
to?
with this one. I think it's the 6th, probably, is the same thing but with humans. It's like, when I'm having a conversation with you, instead of trying to steal your energy for me to have it, that's just a waste. Like I might have
this
it.
This is sort of my favorite revelation as well.
Yeah? So I focus on the aspects of you I think are beautiful, are lovely. Oh, your eyes, the way your eyes shine, the way you're communicating. Why? To give you my energy, so you can express yourself the best way you can. In the most effective way, you know, and for you to shine.
That's the scene where they're sitting. Are they sitting in a triangle or something like that? And he says, "Now turn and face this person."
Oh, that's the one in a group. You know, there's one that tells you one by one conversation in the group. So both of them are one of my favorites. You know.
I remember there was they give you 4 types of characters in the way they extract energy from other people. Right? There's like there's the aggressor. There's someone who comes out
Like
and points out
Intimidator.
the Intimidator, and there's the Aloof character.
Aloof.
The one who's like stands back, who creates the mystery and tries to draw attention into him.
We.
Just saying.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm the type of guy. I'm there. I told you, I'm in a club or I'm in a bar. I see the girl I like, and I'm not gonna go off. I'm just gonna stand there and I'm like, please come over, please. See how mysterious and how cool I am. I'm just like, come over here. So, yeah. And then there was the interrogator as well.
So there's Interrogator, the Intimidator, the Aloof. There's this kind of standoffish one.
Exactly.
And there's one more. I can't remember.
It was like the victim one, I think.
The victim. That's it. And I like these kind of frameworks for just a way of interpreting life in general. You know, that you can just see, okay, this is a mechanism. You put it into 4 personalities, and I can see that I actually have the Aloof mechanism.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very interesting. Next big musical projects.
Oh, interesting. Why? Because I got so many things in my mind that I don't really know which is going to be the next.
Mm-hmm. But so it'll be fun to look back on. It'll be nice for this is when you look back on what you say now in a year's time.
Yeah,
that's always going to be fun.
Exactly. Next project, I think it's an acoustic album, like EP, I think.
Can you actually, before we go into that, can you tell us what music have you produced or where we can find that?
I'm on Spotify as Nick Anthony and basically all platforms. You can find me on YouTube, iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify, anywhere.
And what have you got? What have you? Your musical discography.
My music.
Thanks, man.
It's basically I started off as a trial to experiment with the first song called "Hold On to Me." That for me is a very summary song and stuff, but with a great message behind. It's like probably 0.001% of people that listen to that song actually get the meaning, because it's more like, oh, have fun, but there's a true
message in it.
Yeah, for me.
Which
is the self-discovery. It says the hook is, I've got so many things inside that I really want to work on. The jealousy, the pride, and the things that I usually hold on to. Like I held on to you, but now I hold on to me. That's the hook of it. And through the verses, I explained that a bit more. And it was a journey in England that I went through. It was like, whoa, yeah, there's so many things when I was discovering through this book. I told you, Encantado, conocerme. Whoa, I've got so much crap shit inside. But that I'm willing to work on. It's like, oh, another stage of my life that's so fun to see and be able to put my focus on there and my best energy to work on these things I've been programmed through. So I started off with that song, Hold On To Me. I released then Lying To Myself. It's another song that I really like that song, to be honest. It's very pure sort of acoustic as well. Produced.
How would you describe your style?
My style.
I know that's
Ooh, very hard.
I was trying to describe it. So what would you say? What would you say your style is?
My style, I'm a bit more R&B sort of style, but I love rapping as well. So that's what I mix in, just to quicker communicate in less time. But yeah, R&B, soul, neo soul, pop, indie. Those are the things I would.
Yeah.
Why is it hard for me? Because I'm still discovering my sound. That's why I just released this EP. That's where I wanted to come from. After Hold On To Me and Lying To Myself, I released the EP called Here Goes Nothing. Because it's basically that. Here goes nothing, whoever likes it. And I'm really proud of that project. That's a 4-song project with a song called Pure, Magic. There's the other one, Heartbreak Anniversary Interlude, and Fly Away. And there are 4 songs that are beautifully constructed. All these things have been produced by Goodman Records as well. Whoever wants to check, I love his production.
We'll put all the links. I have to do this. I promise. Links will be in there. Subtitles, no. Oh, sorry, go on. I didn't mean to interrupt. You got 4 songs.
I'll finish quickly. Basically, I've got these 4 songs. This is the last project I did. But that's the thing. I just released a EP of rap, trap, melodic. So rap, trap. Then I'm going to do probably an acoustic album. Then I'm going to do something more techno house. And then I'm going to do something more drum and bass. I don't know. Why? To discover what is my sound. And probably in 1 year, 2, 3, 4, I'm going to be able to answer this question much better.
When we were sitting, yourself, myself, and Max, who's an incredible German rapper, trumpeter, who will be on this, amazing. And we had filmed a little bit of footage outside, and then we went and sat down by the cafe there.
Yeah.
Right? And you two guys had this amazing conversation, as far as I'm concerned, it seemed amazing, about the artistic process that you go through. Right? And you and Max have very different artistic processes, but I was amazed about how well you understand your own process. Could you describe it a little bit to me again?
It's sort of like quite different. Well, quite different. It's similar in some sort of way, but it differs, depends on the song. But I'm a very melodical person. Is that a word?
Melodic?
Melodic person. I go through the rhythm, you know. I listen to a song, and I'm not fully gonna listen to the lyrics until the third, fourth time that I listen to that song. I gotta be captivated by the sound. So that's the process I go through. I first gotta create the melody or hear a beat that I'm like, okay, this is reaching something really fucking cool in here. And then the writing, then I sort of like improvise with it. You know, I'm there, whatever. And I'm like, okay, so I've got that there. And then it's just putting words to the melodies that are there. It's like a sort of game.
Yeah, that's the way I would create as well.
Yeah, right? Like first is the melody. For me, a lot of people, I've got friends that write the other way around. First the lyrics, and then they find a beat or music that goes with it. No, I gotta like really feel the music. And then I think music is very basic, well, basic in a sense, like it comes from when we're small, we're like that's what sticks. So I first create the and substitute these with words. I don't know, you know.
But do you write the words specifically for that melody then, or do you already have other stuff written that you kind of transpose onto?
I always write it like for
that particular song, the vibe that comes from that.
Exactly.
Okay. I have another question for you, thankfully.
Okay.
Languages. So, can you tell me a little bit about your language? Because you speak extremely fluent. You can't tell you're not a native. Are you a native English speaker?
No, Spanish.
You're Spanish, right?
Español.
Español. But your English you can't tell.
Yeah.
Well, I can't tell. I mean, every now and again it might be some, you know, just like you might, but you're very honest. You're like, what's the word for that? If you weren't asking me what the word was, I wouldn't be able to really easily tell. So how about that? Like, so you sing in English.
Exactly.
But you're fluent, you're native Spanish and native Catalan?
Exactly, from the islands, Balearic.
And your parents are?
Father South African and mother's Russian.
And they came to Spain?
Yeah. Like they met there in Russia and everything, and my dad had a dream of Mallorca where he never was there. Actually heard this story like a month ago or something. And he called my mom and said, we're gonna live in Mallorca. So yeah.
Wow, and how is their Spanish?
Great. Great. My father has been living in Spain since 1977. Long time.
You speak Spanish with him?
No, English.
You speak English with your dad?
Yeah, exactly.
And with your mom?
With my mom, I speak English now as well. Because of his boyfriend, he's from Eastbourne, England, so speak English. But I used to speak when I was a kid Russian with my mom all the time.
And so you speak Russian?
Yeah, I do. Not such a fluent way as I speak my Spanish or English, but yeah, like.
What about singing? What's it like if you're singing in English?
Yeah.
Do you notice a different feeling when you're singing in different languages, or do you relate to it differently, or is your what's your feeling with it?
Yeah, the thing is, like, basically everything, or 90% of what I listen to and have listened to is in English, 90+%. So that's why I think I also sing in English, is my influences, you know, listening to Macklemore, to Russ, to J. Cole, these kind of artists. And that's why I sing in English, you know, because I think it's the way I connect more with myself. And I'm like, cool. Singing in Spanish, I nearly don't sing in Spanish. You know, I've got one song written in Spanish, two.
What's it called?
One doesn't have a name, to be honest. You know, these songs that you write and just don't put a name to. But it's towards two of my best friends at the moment, and it's a very beautiful song. I just sing to them. It's for them. Very honest, very pure. I like it. And the other one, what's the other one named? This one had a name. Me olvidé de ti. It's called. And that one's probably going to be the next song I release. You know,
Spanish.
In Spanish.
Okay.
So a little spoiler alert, because I want it to be like a surprise. But anyhow, like whoever listens.
Maybe no one's gonna watch this, but someone will, because I'm gonna make sure they do. I have a question. So can you do something for me? Let's say, Can you speak all the languages you can speak? Give me one sentence in each language so we can just hear it.
Okay.
You can say whatever you want, and then you tell me what you said afterwards in English in those languages. I just find, do you find you change, well, before you do that, do you find you change when you speak different languages, or you feel you're still the same?
I think I sort of do in some sort of way. Like the essence is the same, but like it's through a little bit you to like sort of the tone of the voice or this changes the way you move and the way.
But you were also, I guess, because these languages were also you grew up with these languages. They weren't really acquired afterwards, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So the more your natural character. One thing I like about I better wait for that because we'll go over.
Right, sure.
One of the things I like about learning languages is you get this kind of a bit chance to reconstruct a certain reality, right? Because we have these emotions connected with words. You know, you'll have words connected with English and Catalan, I imagine, and Spanish, and they're just embedded in you. When someone says love or amor or lo que sea, you go oof. But when you learn a language as an adult, you get a chance. Like if you learn like when I came to Spain, the first time, whenever I speak Spanish, I'm happy. Although I have a terrible accent, I'm happy because I arrived in Granada. I just had a beautiful experience for that year. So every time I speak Spanish, all the I was kind of like I've created this new reality for myself with this new language, and you have this new ability to kind of live this energy, you know, that has less of the negative stuff that you might have had when you're younger, because now you're capable of creating a reality that you like and more jives with your vibe, right? All right, give me some Russian.
Okay. Привет, как дела? Меня зовут Антон или Антошка, как моя мама сказала. И я очень люблю кофе пить.
Okay, I'm Anthony. I forgot. Nice to meet you, and I'm drinking coffee.
I said, yeah, my name's Anthony, or Antoshka. That's how my mom used to call me. Antoshka. It's like a little.
That's cute.
Yeah, it's like in Spanish you say Antonio or Antonito.
Oshka in Russian is like the ino.
Yeah, it's like a diminutivo.
Diminutivo.
And I love drinking coffee.
Alright, hit me with Catalan.
Okay. Soc Anthony, soc de Mallorca. I venc d'un poble anomenat Lloret, però he crescut en un poble que es diu Esporles.
English?
My name's Anthony, and I come from Mallorca, from this little town called Lloret, but I grew up in this town called Esporles. That I really love, by the way.
And give me one more. Give me your Spanish then. It's
Spanish. Aparte de beber café, me encanta compartir tiempo con James y hablar sobre hachís.
I had that bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Other than drinking coffee, I love spending time with James and talking about hash.
Yes.
Which does form a lot.
Okay. Cool.
Have you been to Russia?
I've been to Russia.
And?
3-4 times. It's cool. I like it. You know, I was very small. You know, with the whole situation going on now, it's like,
it's a whole different thing.
Yeah. My grandparents came to Spain to live and everything.
When did your grandparents come to Spain to live?
About like 7-8 years ago.
Oh, okay. And how are they doing here?
They're doing great. They're living the best life. Yeah. Got all the, like my mom's there, my uncle, their son is there, grandchildren. Exactly. You know.
Your grandchildren?
Their grandchildren.
Okay.
Me and my brother. So yeah, Russia is like times I remember it. Like I love it, you know, being like cold, especially like ordering ice cream. It's gonna last you for hours. Just stick it in your pocket here so it doesn't touch a lot. And 1 hour later, you take it and you keep eating it. Skiing there, and just the whole statues is full like St. Petersburg is full like statues made of gold and everything. And I was like very like, wow, when I was a kid looking at that, and very cool. I don't know, like it.
Okay, we'll go and touch on a little bit of well-being.
Yes, please.
So I will touch on emotional, psychological well-being and physical well-being. So, what do you do when you're not in a good mood? How do you protect yourself? What's your strategies? What do you do for the darker times? Do you have things that you do, or strategies, or ideas, or?
If I'm not brave enough to do it myself, I go to therapy. Straight away. Yes. I've got this therapist of mine that I love. She really connects me with, like, snaps me back to reality. But with myself, because what I love of my therapist is she teaches us to be our own therapist, to be independent, to not go there. You know? And I love that. Like, she's not trying to sell anything. She's like, oh, I need your money. No, she's like, I want you to heal yourself.
Yeah, fuck, thank God for that, man.
Exactly, you know.
Because it's an endless cycle otherwise with these.
Exactly, you know, sometimes I love it because she comes, we go there, and sometimes I was so good, she would tell me, why are you coming? You got the answers already. Like, well, you know how to work on yourself, but there's a lot to learn.
So an example of something that your therapist taught you to do for yourself would be what?
Basically, is the teoría del reflejo, the theory of reflection, the mirror. I don't know how it's called in English, but it's.
I imagine it's called mirror theory. But go on. Yeah.
First therapies I would go is like, I'm really not connecting with my mom because I see how she manipulates me and she doesn't understand me. She doesn't really listen to what I'm trying to say. She's not supporting my goals in this aspect or whatever. So she says, okay, everything that you don't like from her is what you don't like from yourself. Boom!
Bam!
And you're like,
back.
Wait, do I manipulate? Shit, I do. Am I the one who's not really listening to what she has to say? Am I not supporting her journey as much as I would like her to support mine? Shit, and that's how she gave me the tool to see that this whole world is a projection of your mind, you know? It's a simulation, as people call it, you know? And it's like, whoa, how you can heal yourself through what you see from other people.
Can you give me an example? Like, so what I do sometimes when I'm walking around in the street, I do is kind of a status update, which you go boop check, and I just check how I'm feeling about the people around me. Yeah. You know, and like man, and you will catch yourself no matter how I'm in a great mood, but you think, but you really dislike this guy, you know, for some reason. And I found that is, I can see it's a dangerous trap. You running around like blaming everybody for not being interesting enough, or not doing cool shit and things like that, and you're like, who's the one who's not doing interesting shit, you know?
And that's where you have to go deep in, you know?
Yeah.
So
real deep, real dark.
Real deep. So that's one of the best things, like I think my therapist has told me and told me, you know, to be like, okay, first of all, what's the judgment behind? I don't like the way he's so arrogant. Okay, who's arrogant? I'm arrogant. Or, yeah, arrogant. Let me put another example, better. Let me think, I want to really reflect as well.
Take your time.
It would be, I see, for example, a girl, for example. Oh, this girl that I really like is rejecting me. She's just showing a side of me, you know? Okay, so I do the therapy. I'm rejecting myself. In which aspect am I rejecting myself? By not listening to what I truly want to do and by doing things to please others. Okay, when did I first feel that emotion when I was a kid? When did I first feel rejection? Oh, when my parents left to work and they left me alone or whatever. You know, so kind of feel that emotion as much as you can. Grab that little child of yours, like in your head, give him a hug and be like, hey, it's okay, like, I'm never gonna reject you. You know, like, I don't care, whoever, I'm gonna be here for you. Boom. Saying that feeling, let it go, okay, done. You know, especially as the hug the emotion, don't push it away. I think.
That's really good, man. By the way, I would like to say, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but you made me cry 3 times, almost 4. No, really, man, really. Watching you, Michael, sing, I cried like a baby, and 2 other times I cried. And I almost cried when you and Max were singing. Remember you singing the thing? You know that feeling of when 2 people that you know are connecting and like that. And it's been really, I mean, honestly, aside from podcasts, it's been really, really important for me because I have had this kind of, I've been somewhat closed emotionally. Yeah. And since coming to Barcelona, it's and meeting you and just singing. This is one of the reasons why I'm so comfortable with doing this whole playful growth thing. Is because I think if more people sing and dance and are exposed to singers and dancers, it's almost certainly a net positive for the world.
Yeah, no, it's such a way of letting go, absolutely.
How's your dancing?
My dancing is shit. But I love it, because like, I really feel true to myself when I dance, and I don't care, you know, like, okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and that's it, you know. Like, it's not about the moves, it's about letting go.
So how would you think, since, I'll go afterwards, but how do you think you've evolved as an artist in the last, let's say, since I've known you?
Since you've known me, I've evolved in a way of singing more for myself. You know, like when you're on the street and when it's your job, you're paying your bills with this and everything, you're like, you want to impress the others. You go, oh yeah, because when you make impact out there, it's right like that. And what I realize is when I close my eyes, or I don't even have to do that, but I'm here, I'm saying I'm really feeling my voice and the message of the song. If it's one of mine, much better. Sorry, I just had that.
So as long as you don't turn it off, it's
yeah,
good.
it's alright.
You're right.
And really feel it. So it happened to me the first time. I was here in Barcelona. That's how I feel I evolved. I was there. Like, fuck, I'm not getting the money I want to, but why do I do this? Because I enjoy it. Close my eyes. I sang this song. Wow, I really felt it. Opened my eyes, and there was a circle of people surrounding me. I was like, what the hell?
It's
so
incredible, isn't it?
Whoa. So that's a bit something I've learned that I have to remind myself in this work I'm doing on myself, that you first sing for yourself. And when you fill yourself so much, it just has to
Spills
spread out.
over.
Exactly, spills out. That's the word.
Yeah.
Has to spill on other people, and that's when they're like, "Oh, well, just filled here. Oh, okay, I'm gonna watch. Cool."
What's the song you play? It's when you're in a bad mood. It is Happy Place, Lovely.
Don't worry, be happy.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely, it's a great reminder. I think music is also like a mantra sort of way to remind yourself, like, hey, get out of your bullshit, get out of your head.
Physical health. That's a thing, man. Fuck it. Physical health. How would you rate your fit? So I would rate you on many levels extremely high. In terms of integrity, in terms of drive, in terms of organization, in terms of talent.
But your health is bullshit.
no, your health isn't bullshit. But I'm a big physical. I'm a physical nut. I'm all into the yoga and what's your physical routine? I'm not saying it's low. I'm just saying on these other things you're like far above average, but I would rate probably your physical exercise regime as average, right? Okay. Which is just relatively lower. So talk me through that.
My routine, what do you mean, like describing a day of mine? Or?
Yeah, a day, or how do you take care of yourself physically, or what's your general outlook on that whole thing?
What I try to do, it's a very interesting journey for me, because it's the way I can learn to connect with myself, and I'm still not even 10% there. But when I wake up in the morning, I always try to stretch my body, feel it, and not every morning I remember it, like I try to do that, and always I try to do a little bit of exercise, and that's something I try not to fail every day.
What's a little bit of exercise?
First, one day I work on my abs. It's because you don't have to do so much, I do a 10-minute video, or I put 2 videos, 20 minutes. Okay, we're working on that, okay, you warm up your body, especially I feel the more focus you put on your, instead of I'm just gonna do that. You don't get the same results. No, really focus on that.
No, you don't.
Be conscious of the muscle. Imagine how the muscle is. Okay, I do that, and the other day I just do push-ups and whatever. And if I have to do like that,
I take it back. That's pretty solid.
Yeah, no, but
exercise regime.
Yeah, but
no, I mean with 20 minutes a day, you can get a lot of shit done, bro.
Exactly, but that's basically the thing. Cool, it's great to get a nice body. That's one of my goals, okay, get a good body. Because you're gonna be cool, and it's gonna, and in summer when you take a t-shirt, damn. No, but it's more about the mobility. I think one thing that I love about doing exercise is feeling like a little kid again. Being able to move like that and feel like, suddenly you walk in the street, it's gonna turn, the lights is gonna turn red, and instead of being like, fuck it, you run. You're like, let's see if I catch it, and suddenly life becomes more playful, and you're in the city, it's crowded. Instead of being like, you bumped into this person, suddenly it's a dance. And you're like, and you smile at the people, and you're like, damn. So and I think that comes from exercise.
Well, for sure. That's a big, somebody mentioned, I think it's, now I can't remember his name, Conor McGregor. I didn't want to mention his name, but then his trainer who does the whole movement gym. And his point is that, why is it that fitness people move so poorly? People who are into fitness move like blocks.
Yeah, stiff.
And the idea of fitness, at least for me, is to be able to play more, better, and have more enthusiasm in general. It's just this base where if you start jogging, for example, just like you mentioned, when you start jogging, after a couple of weeks of jogging, you might find yourself by a traffic light, and you'll be excited to go run for it. Your body will be like, boop-a-doo-ba-doo. Or when you get better mobility, then you're able to dance and move around and roll around the floor better. So the fitness thing is mainly because I'm a lunatic. I just need to exercise a lot. Yeah. Otherwise, I'll do bad things to myself. But the idea of just improving your health so that you can play more for longer.
Exactly.
Right?
You can play life in the physical form. We've given a physical form for a reason. And I think we've got body types and all of these kind of things. But at the end, I think our bodies should be built for that, to be able to be agile, strong in a sense, but everything has to be in an equilibrium sort of way. You know, you shouldn't be too bulked up, because if not, you're gonna move, as you said, all stiff and all that. And if you have to fucking run away from something, that's not gonna be, you know. So, or at least the body I aspire to have. I'm very happy with my body, and I think it's more an inner work. You know, with how much you accept yourself. You know, like I remember before, really working out, and I had a great body. You know, I was really happy with it, but I was feeling so insecure. No, I have to more. Now I don't.
I've gone that.
Like,
I've definitely gone that.
I don't have the same abs that I used to have, but still, I'm like, yo, I feel flexible. I feel good. You know, so I think that's a bit the main goal of exercise. You know, feeling like a kid again.
Boom.
Being elastic.
Boom. Challenges that are facing you right now. How if you'd say the 3 biggest challenges that you've got in your life?
In my life?
Yeah, well,
right
this moment right now. Yeah.
Ooh, and I'd like to link that with a question for you after this, right?
Go for it,
Remind me if
baby.
I forget.
Go for it.
Challenges, first of all, is money and my relationship with money.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. Like, for me, it's like, people talk a lot about abundance and everything, and yeah, that's sort of like the state I want to go in to learn how abundance works for me. You know, like, I think that's the thing, the more you give of yourself to the world, the more it's going to come. But basically, so you can give back. So it's a cycle, not of keep, but give.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the challenges I have right now, you know, like, how can I not be worried about rent for that energy to be focused on my art and the people I love and the time I want to spend, you know? Like, right now, I wouldn't be in the same energy set. Like, today I feel good money-wise because I don't have the focus there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I have the same money as yesterday, maybe, that I was more paranoid. Oh, shit. Like, we're already on day, 8? And I haven't made any money because I've been sick and whatever. I haven't been able to go, hey, it's raining. But today I'm in the space of, like, enjoying time with you, you know? And this allows me to give. So that's one of the
I'll just stop you for the challenge, because I want to say that.
Yeah.
You can go on after that. The thing that the one reason we're shooting this documentary about you and about Max and about street artists in general is because the value that you give to society, you don't receive at least from my relatively objective perspective, like, because I've seen you, I've seen multiple times people come up to you and say, hey, you really saved my day. And I get shivers still thinking about it. They come up more than, like, at least one person a day. On average, at least one person a day is going to come up and say, thank you very much, I was having a hard time, I really appreciate that. And then, in terms of the value that's being put out there, it doesn't seem to be recognized in that sense. Like, street artists and street artists in general, when they're playing well and nice music, they really do give value to society. Yeah. Which is not only not remunerated financially, but also you're running from the police like criminals, right?
Yeah. Well, sort of, like, I think I've got a better relationship with authority in that sort of sense, you know, like. You've got a better relationship. I've never had to run from police.
Yeah, but you're lovely though.
Yeah, but that's the thing, you know, whatever has to come, but honesty comes first, you know, and yeah. Do you have a permit? No, I don't. Can you take your things out? Absolutely. I'll come back tomorrow. Done.
Yeah, in fairness, yeah, they're not really out.
But where were you trying to go with that?
Just so with this idea of abundance, right? Yeah. What you're trying to, your challenge is to overcome your relationship with a feeling of a lack of abundance, or to actually financially become abundant.
Yeah, but I think they're both related. But first, I want to feel it in me. Yeah. So it manifests in some sort of way, you know. We get the money we think we deserve, we need. Yeah. We deserve, we deserve. So that's how it works, you know. I can complain about the money I have. So it's not like I'm on a shortage of money. I'm happy, I'm stable, I'm okay, you know. But I want more, you know. For what? To what I said, be more focused on these things. So basically, that's the thing, you know. I can't complain because I'm receiving the money I think I deserve. Put myself in a better mind state, I'll be getting better money.
It's true. I very much like that because I feel the exact same. It's actually, right? You know, when you go out and you pay money for things and you're paying like €100 for some fucking una tonteria, like nothing, you know, there's €100. And then when you try and price your own time, we tend to price it down way below the objective world that we see outside of ourselves.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Yeah.
Shitty. Anyway, okay.
Shitty.
So, but that's it. I like the way you take responsibility for it massively, man.
No, totally. You know, you cannot blame like anything. Like, I think there's two roles in this life: it's victim or responsibility. take responsibility for your actions. You know, don't start blaming. It's like me. Sorry, little example on the street. Oh, but I'm doing it so good. I'm doing it so amazing. Why are people not living? Because of the fucking energy you're giving out.
Well, no, also because the energy you're giving out, but also because we don't pull the trigger on the put money in my bag bit.
Yeah, that's
right?
another subject as well. Yeah,
that's a whole other subject. Yeah. But so as a street artist, people come and they walk by, and a lot of them actually, it's not that they don't want to give money, it's just that you have to remind them to give money, but we're not comfortable reminding them that because somehow we feel awkward about that, right?
Yeah, a bit.
Yeah.
But well.
All right, challenge 2.
Challenge 2. Challenge 2 is overcoming my fears. It's so basic. I know it's so basic.
So give an example of a fear that you're trying to overcome.
Stop looking for validation out there. It's something I think I struggle, you know, like when I lose focus, you know, I'm like trying to please, as I said before, this person or that other person, and I really want to work on being as authentic to myself, as honest as I can, you know, because as I said, it's such a short time we've got here on earth, so why the fuck am I going to please the others when the others are me? So it's just, no, please you, you're going to see the reflection of it outside. That's my second challenge.
Beautiful. You got one more for us?
Stop smoking hash. No. Third challenge. Sorry.
You don't smoke. No, you don't get stop. Oh, God.
Nah. Third challenge.
I'm just going to check. Hi, guys. We just never know. We don't want this suddenly. Okay, we're still going.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. We got 10% battery, so we're going to
wrap it up.
Wrap it up with third challenge.
Okay. Third challenge. What is my third challenge? I don't know if I have a third challenge.
Fuck it. Out with the third challenge. I was going to shouldn't. I think those are two big ones.
It's more focused, yeah, exactly, on my relation. Money is what maybe consumes my mind more. Yeah, I'd say that, fear. And third challenge, I'd say it's related with the other two, but connecting with my love, my inner source, to spread it out as much as I can, and every aspect, and every person, every situation, every object, and give it like the most love that I can.
Beautiful.
You know? I have a
oh, yes, sorry, I delivered.
Is it there? Is it working?
Huh?
Is it on? Is it
It's on. It's on.
Okay,
Let me check. All right, so we just had a tech learning curve, ran out of battery. And some great stuff. You just have to take our word for it. The phone is upside down, but we'll leave that as the way it is.
Okay, yeah. Doesn't matter, fuck it.
So last of all, any shout outs? Anybody in particular you'd like to say thanks to? Or anyone you'd like to recommend, or anybody?
Yes, I'd love to give a shout out to you. Basically, because I didn't say in the whole podcast, I think we got so involved in the conversation that I loved. But shout out to the whole program you're doing. I really connect with what you do, James. It's something so honest. So as you said, you're connecting with what you've always wanted to do and what you want it to be. So like my support is going to go, honestly, straightforward with this project. Anything you need, I want you to sincerely know that you've got me here, you know, for anything. Even if it's for a setting of the thing.
He's good at that.
Whatever. Yeah, whatever, you know, but like, shit, this thing that you're doing is really amazing, and I think it's going to make a great impact on the world. So shout out to you, James.
We didn't script that. I was hoping for it, but we didn't script it.
No, but it just clicked right now. It's like, yeah, man, like you've got such great intentions for this world since I've met you. So
since you've met me.
Well, because I don't know who.
No, I mean,
you know
my intentions for the world have improved. Put it that way.
So great. So shout out to this. Shout out Playful Growth, and whatever this is going to become, you know, I really hope so. So
hug it out.
Thank you for today, really.